I really missed um, looking into my webcam and not chatting away. But I guess, as most of us would agree by now, work is important and I had to be away. But I'm glad to be back. Okay, so let's tune into the cards right away and see what we have for this week. Okay, love, compassion. Okay, so I do know this is about self-love and self-care rather than anything that's towards outside of you. There is definitely a resurgence of self-love, and before it can turn into something else outside, you're really feeling it from within, and you have nothing else to credit but the Scorpio new moon. This Scorpio new moon at 0 degree was the most powerful and potent moon, and Scorpio, as it is a sign that looks right into the depth of things. And cosmically, I think it was a time for a lot of us to just let go, because if anyone did sit with the Scorpio new moon trying to analyze and be in control, I'm pretty sure it backfired pretty badly. And I hope that you recuperate pretty soon, okay? But anytime this week you feel you're doing something and your mind tells you it's stupid, just ask your mind to just shut the hell up, okay? Mind is not relevant this week, your heart is, okay? In global scenario, this may even translate to some, in legal systems, if there are any verdicts that's being passed out, there could be some surprising news there. Or it could mean that there are a lot more organizations stepping out towards serving just causes, and they are being noticed. This could also mean that your personal sense of what is justice, gonna get integrated with the concept of feeling right. Okay, so what this means is that you are in direct connection with your conscience right now. Okay, and I think you will very well know the difference between what an impulse is and what feeling right is. Okay, lightning, and it says power. Okay, again, this is not about having power over someone, having power over a certain situation. Life should not be in control, it should be in balance. Let me rephrase that whole axiom for you. There is this new you that's just coming out of the shell, and you want to explore the limits and what this new you is all about, and you're trying to experiment in a very childlike manner. There are no strings attached to it, you just want to do it because you want to know. This, again, you have nothing else to credit except the Scorpio new moon, because it's the seat of power. Intense sign because it deals with primal, a nonchalant force that keeps removing and keeps regenerating. Okay, so there's nothing you can do. It's just something that comes in, weeds out, and goes out. Okay, and what you're left with is what you get to work with. So it just pruned you out, if I may say so. The best outcome of this was that most of us are feeling a lot more grounded. We are going to dedicate ourselves to something in truly deeply committal manner, in truly self-empowering manner. I cannot reiterate this enough, but there's an aspect of self-love and self-respect and self-centeredness, meaning committing to feeling good about yourself. And I think this is gonna reflect in the way you will commit to a certain task. So I think some of us are gonna get back to learning or persevering a certain subject or discipline, apprenticing under someone, maybe actually finally giving yourself into learning a new skill. This also may involve very innocent exploration of physical intimacy with someone. Maybe you are turning the clock back in your established relationships, as in puppy love or as an innocent adolescent would do. This exploration does not come with any sort of heaviness with it. It comes with purely innocent vibes. And similarly, I also do see some of you guys re-establishing your bond with the idea of money, or the idea of sharing responsibility related to money. Maybe even starting a small-time job just to feel good about making your own money. however this works out for you. Okay, so this is something that is very light-hearted, but truly from the bottom of your heart. Radiance, it says summer solstice. Okay, so even though if this is not exactly the summer solstice, the card says be thy own radiant self. Doesn't mean you have to be God, just have to be yourself. Okay, so what are the things that really makes you feel in your own element, in your own lightest self-expression? I think that would be something like what takes the edge off the reality. Hobby, creative arts, and in any case you have that strong support because Jupiter is in Leo, and it does support your creative pursuits, your hobbies, your endeavors, harmless romance, flings and flirtations. You have that capability to be detached and have fun. And believe me, I think if you have survived last 10 months, you would agree that it's what's being granted to you is a leverage. So take it, go head on, okay? Go break a leg or go shake a leg. Finally, we get something like the sun. And sun is the eternal truth master. It knows what it is and it just is and it expresses itself. That's what it is. You know where you come from, you know what's becoming of you, you're also experimenting, and it's a great week for you to commit to something creative, because I believe, the sun and the Venus, Sun, Venus and shortly Mercury would be joining Saturn in Scorpio, and it will form a beautiful trine with Neptune in Pisces, which is in its own home sign. So everything that you do with a sense of detachment, with a sense of commitment, is going to be supported by higher powers. It's going to be supported by your own highest vision for yourself. And one of the ways that this gets plugged in is through your creative endeavors this week. I do feel some of us who have deliberately not allowed artistic or creative pursuits to happen in your life, or maybe it has taken a backseat. Given a choice, you would have, probably made a living out of it were it to pay you. I guess some of us are gonna consider doing that side by side. Okay, this has been a recurring theme, but I guess it gets a lot more evident with this week. And I think it will start as something as a silly, crazy tryout at some place because somebody else pushed you into the situation and you just did it. And then after that you feel, oh my God, I've not lost this mojo. Okay, so get back to it, have fun with it. You might be surprised what it can bring into your life. Okay, all right. And the next card is winter solstice. It says reflection. Okay, it's not winter solstice yet, but what this actually says is reflection. So let me bring the previous card. What we have is radiance and reflection. So these are mutually complementary forces we are talking about. So what is the idea here? When I look at the reading so far, what I get is learn how to balance your active life with your passive life. Okay? If you're someone who's really good at doing things, you can keep doing all you want, but you won't have a purpose if you don't reflect. If you're someone who is so good at thinking and reflecting but never end up doing stuff, then there's no reason for all that wonderful ideas or imagination because they never get realized. Okay, so you kind of have to strike a balance between these two forces. Okay, that is the beautiful lesson of this week, knowing how to deal with two complementary forces. Now if you're a surfer, you'll understand a good surfer has to know when the wave goes up and down and then play accordingly. That's all you need to do. Ride the wave. Okay, focus on what you get to feel good about, maybe the sun energy. Okay, and then look at this reflective energy from a point of view of what the sun energy can grant you, because I feel you have everything going right this week. In fact, this card power actually talks about knowing the balance between these two energies. And to feel empowered is to do the whole act from the soul level. Okay, so now as a surprise, I have drawn another card from one of the other decks that I have, and the card that I drew was Midas Miser. Okay, so now this is an archetype card. This talks about the light and the dark attributes in a person. So when Midas Miser comes up, you have this week the potential to turn everything you touch into gold, but you have to do it from a sense of generosity towards self or others, whoever's involved, but not with an intent of holding yourself back from sharing these riches with the world. Some of us will actually have to go to a spiritual institution or seek counsel. So you don't have to talk to anyone about it if you're consulting a psychologist. Listen, it's Scorpio new moon, so if you have gone against its energy sinking into your system, then yes, you're pretty much suffering the aftermath. So what you got to do is allow things to unknot itself, okay? Don't try to be the doer. Let someone else help you. So yes, that's a perfect culmination of all the lessons 2014 had to give you in a nutshell within the small span of this week. Okay, and I think this will sink in a little bit more towards the end of November, and you will know a lot more about yourself by then.